For centuries, men and women have stepped away from the table to fast, to pray, to seek something deeper. But what does a 40-day fast look like today? I'm Dr. Sam King of Fasting, and in this podcast, I invite you to walk with four ordinary people on an extraordinary journey. Day 7, first week is done. So let's talk about some 7-day fasts. Some 7-day fasts that actually use fast mimicking. One of them was the one I've talked about where they gave them 100 calories, and the other ones where they actually gave them, they did 5 days of restricted calories every single day, around 250 to 500. Most people tend to be a little more hungry during that time frame. The first one was just 7 days of 100 calories for 7 days. And they did these biomarkers. They tested how their labs were doing and how sad it was beforehand and afterwards. And this one was just 7 days of just 100 calories a day to feed the gut bacteria. And then 3 months later, they tested them. And then 6 months later, they tested them to see how their health markers were. And then the other one was they did 3 months of one group just got to eat whatever they wanted. And this group, they did the fast mimicking, more of a caloric restriction, where they had 5 days of very specific foods given to them, kept it under 500 calories after the second day. The first day was 1,100. They did their biomarkers, and they did it once a month. So they did 5 days for 3 months. They tested them 3 and 6 months later. And the ones that just did the 1 7-day fast with the 100 calories had better health markers 6 months later than they were when they first started it. So there's these long-term health benefits, and they just returned back to their regular diet. These long-term health benefits of having a 7-day fast that will last you for 6 months. And the other group that had the fast mimicking, it improved the markers for aging, diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. So there is a lot of health benefits, not just during the fast, but up to 6 months later after the fast. Those were 7-day fasts. They also found benefits in diabetes, cardiovascular disease, like I said, cancers, neurologic disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, and stroke. And there's tons of other ones too. So we actually have some 7-day fasts in the Bible. And 2 of them, most of them don't remember the one that when Saul's followers found him, he died in the battlefield. They actually fasted for 7 days. We were able to find his body, take it down off the wall, and bury him. So Saul fasted, his followers fasted in 7 days. That's in 1 Samuel 33:13. And then in 2 Samuel 12:16 through 22, there's the story of Bathsheba. David, sleeps with Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. She gets pregnant. He kills Uriah. She has the baby. Nathan the prophet says, your baby's going to die. So he fasts. He lays in sackcloth. He lays down. He fasts for 7 days. And the baby dies. And then he gets up and eats. I'm like, well, why are you getting up? You were so sad. Nobody wanted to tell him. And he's like, well, he's like, I'm not going to go to him now at this point. I'm not going to see him, but someday I'll go to where he is. I'll go see him in heaven. And so even though it's this terrible thing where he fasts and his baby does die, we get this really encouraging picture that children that die before the age of accountability go right to heaven. So that's where we get part of this picture that we actually, this understanding of young infants or young children that die. They don't have to worry about anything about going to heaven. You're going to still see them again. Even though it's terrible, that's actually that's one of the places where we learn that these kids babies go right to heaven. So it's this fascinating thing that even in tragedy, and I will point out, Samuel David didn't die, Saul's followers didn't die during their fast. So 7-day fast has long-term benefits. And as I mentioned earlier, there is potential benefits that a 1 7-day water fast once a year can pretty much limit your risk of cancer. And even fast mimicking can help your risk of cancer. How did everybody else do on their 7-day fast? Well, Davey had a good day at the beginning and a rough day at the end. That can happen. Chelsea's super excited because on day 10, she's down 10 pounds. I mean, that's awesome. And we know some of this water weight, but, great. And she started her cycle. So, sorry, Chelsea. But she did have communion yesterday, so she should be okay. So that was probably the hurdle for her. She had some sea salt as one of her fasting fuels. On day 7, I lifted. I felt great doing weights. I had to cut it short because I had a busy day, but not because I ran out of energy. I got a gallbladder. Now I got an MRI scan of my gallbladder after my cleanse. Good news, no sludge. Got all that stuff. Bad news, 3 large stones that remain. One is 2 centimeters. The other small ones are 1 centimeter. I thought about cleansing one more time at this point, but I was going to check my magnesium level first because I did take magnesium Epsom salts to do this. That did not happen again. I actually had my duct measured, and once I realized that there was just no way that they were going to come out. So that either was going to come out as a miracle, they were going to disappear, or was going to come out surgically. And you'll find out later which one happened. Or maybe there's a miracle with the surgery. There is. Teaser. A brand cycle ended. Week 1 done. Father, help me. Thank you for helping me get through this week. It's the hardest fasting week ever. And I don't know if that had to do with the fact that she knew that she had to go 40 days. I don't know. Because she'd done 7 days before, and she'd done 14 days at door. And this was just a hard week. And sometimes staring down that 40 days on week 1, it just seems very daunting. And we get it. I understand it. Sometimes you just kind of keep your head down and keep going. If you have the energy, you're praying about it, you're still supposed to continue. This is when I would recommend you start getting lab work again. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at your BUN, blood urea nitrogen. And what that is when that starts to go up, that's when you're starting to break down muscle. So as long as that's staying low, you're going to be just fine. When that starts to go up, you're breaking down muscle. So Davies at the end of his 40 fast, his was a 2. Mine was a 3, I think 3 or 4. Chelsea's was a 3. So that's something you want to watch for. You don't start breaking down muscle until your body fat percentage is around 4%. So it's got to get pretty low. Most elite athletes that are long distance runners run about 8 to 10%, sometimes 12. So a long distance runner is probably going to be between 8 and 10%. So you're probably not going to get there. But you might be getting close, and it's possible. So just check your laps. And if your BN is starting to go up, that's when it's time to break your fast. Pray about it, knowing to continue. But also there are times when we have to, if we do this, you have to do it safely. And these are ways that you make sure you do it safely. All right. So congratulations. You've made it through week 1, 7 days. So week 2 starts tomorrow. Can't wait to see you there.